Hello and welcome. My name is Carlos Torres. I'm the NASA SBIR STTR Program Manager. We're happy to see so many of you joining us from all around the country today as we demo our new proposal submission system. We created a new proposal submission system that is more modern, intuitive, and user-friendly to help you focus on submitting a quality proposal. You'll see that most of the changes to the proposal submission system were as a result of your feedback from RFI, interviews, suggestions at Industry Day, and requests that came to our technical support team. The solicitation will be released in just 2 days on January 11th. The goal of this webinar is to show you a brief demonstration of the system and highlight the new features. There is a more in-depth training webinar on January 17th, which we hope you'll join us for as well, especially for those of you who are new. I'll now turn it over to Heather Morgan, our NASA SBIR Program Support Representative, who's going to demo the system for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Carlos. Today, as Carlos mentioned, I will be sharing the look and feel of our new Proposal Submissions Electronic Handbook, also commonly referred to as the EHB, and highlighting its features. This will take about 30 minutes. For those of you interested in a more in-depth look at the tool, I strongly encourage you to attend the training on the 17th. After my presentation, we'll do a Q&A session during the remaining time. All callers participating today are on mute. You can submit questions at any time via the Q&A feature that's on the top right of your Adobe Connect system. Your questions will be collected and prioritized, and we'll answer as many as we can during the Q&A session at the end. I do want to note that we'll only be taking questions pertaining to the submissions process. We will not be answering any questions pertaining to the technical subtopics in the solicitation. Those will be available when the solicitation opens on January 11th. The webinar will be recorded and made available as a resource on the public website. Now on to the fun stuff. As we revamped the submissions EHB, we made a conscious effort to focus on the user experience. The enhanced experience we've created should make the proposal submission process more intuitive and efficient to save you time. In addition, we've enabled a number of new help and support options that are easy to access. We do know that there are still areas like the commercial metrics survey and the budget form that can be further improved, so we encourage you all to provide feedback as you go through this year's submission process so we can continue to incrementally make your experience better and better for future solicitations. So we'll now go into the demo portion of the presentation. The submissions EHB will be accessible from the NASA SBIR public website. We'll have it linked in multiple places, so it's easy for you guys to locate. Once you click on the EHB link, it'll take you directly to the login page for the submissions handbook, and that's shown here. If you've previously participated in the program, you can log in with your existing submissions EHB user ID and password. If it's been more than 90 days, you'll be prompted to reset your password upon successful login. If you're new to the program, you'll click on the New User Registration button. The EHB will be opening for registration on January 11th in alignment with the solicitation opening. For those of you joining today that are with a research institution that plan to partner with a small business on an STTR proposal, you can now register as a research institution, and the RI official can use a single EHB account to work with multiple small businesses. This is a change from the prior system where you had to register separately under each of the small businesses you were working with. Upon registration and login, you'll be taken to the submissions homepage to manage your proposal submissions. And here's an example of what that page will look like. You'll notice that this is quite different from the prior system. It's a modern user interface with more visual cues, including trackers so you can easily see what still needs to be done. And I'll go through this page in a little more detail so you can see how to navigate through it and highlight some of the features here. You'll notice in the blue box a snapshot of the firm information and percentage of completion for each of those forms to show you the progress on that section. Just below that is a list of your active proposals for both SBIR and STTR for a quick view with status so you can see where you are in the process. I do want to note that both SBIR and STTR are viewable from here, so you don't have to click between two different sections to get to the STTR proposals or the SBIR proposals. And if you need to get to the details of a specific proposal, you can click on the proposal title for any of the proposal submissions, and that'll take you to the details for that specific proposal. If you go back up to the top, you'll notice on the right we have the recent activity for quick reference, and we have a navigation bar on the top which includes access to the firm information, as well as to My Proposals, which will list all of the active proposals, both SBIR and STTR, so that you can get to those easily. And then there's also your user profile for updates or logout. Okay, and another thing I quickly wanted to note in terms of navigation, if you're on a specific form, you can easily access other forms, and we'll give you an example of that. Once you're within a specific form, on the top bar and on the left bar, you can easily navigate to the other forms by clicking on any of the tabs there. Okay, I wanted to talk a little bit about time savers. The redesign makes it easier to find information and know exactly what you need to do, so you're not trying to spend time navigating through the site. And we'll show some of those time savers to you guys now. We have the recent activity located on the right, and that identifies the sections that you've recently worked on so that you can quickly get back to them to continue work. And I do want to note, every 15 minutes, your progress will be auto-saved to avoid having to redo unsaved work. And we will have timeout notifications appear for awareness every 30 minutes prior to session timeout to give you the opportunity to keep your session live. We go back to the home screen. I did want to highlight that for the firm information, which includes contact information, firm certifications, prior awards addendum, and the commercial metrics survey, this data is captured once and it's applicable across all your proposals. So you don't have to fill these out for each of your proposal submissions. You only have to enter it once. And this data will be saved for future solicitations. So when you come back to participate in a future solicitation, you won't have to re-enter that data. You'll just need to review it and update it if needed. In addition, some of the information will be pre-populated. For example, for the prior awards addendum, for those of you who have participated and been awarded NASA Phase 1 and Phase 2 proposals in the past, that data will be pre-populated here so that you don't have to do all of that data entry. And beyond that, we take the data from this form and populate it into the commercial metrics survey so that you don't have to re-enter that data there. For forms where sections may not be applicable to you, the system will auto-exclude those portions based on your responses so that you only have to complete pertinent required information. Here's an example on the audit information form where if you answer yes, you have quite a number of questions that you need to complete. But if your company has never been audited by a federal agency, you can simply answer no and submit the form, and the status will show as complete. Now we'll move on to help and support. We do have help and support in multiple places within the EHB to help you through every step of the submissions process. And it's easily accessible from all of the pages through the help icon, which will show up on the right-hand side, and we'll show that to you now. So from here, you have access to all of the various types of help and support tools, and we'll highlight some of those today. We will have video tutorials to get you familiar with the new system and help you with maneuvering through some of the more elaborate sections of the submission site. And we'll briefly show one of those now that's focused on the submissions homepage.
Welcome. This help.
And we'll go ahead and turn off the audio so that's not distracting, but this will show you, give you a nice overview of the submissions homepage and how to navigate. And we'll have similar videos like this for several of the core functionalities of the system. Okay, we'll also have contextual help embedded throughout the process for guidance along the way. And we can pull up one of our forms to demonstrate that. So if you see question mark icons located next to fields, and just give me 1 second. You can hover over that icon and it will give you additional information on what's required for that specific field. And if there's relevant websites or other references, we'll include that wherever possible. Additionally, we'll have clear and concise validation messages that appear when there's an error so that you can understand what the issue is. And we can show an example of that on our firm certifications form. If we look at the first question, the offer qualifies as a small business concern as defined in section 1.5.1 of the solicitation. If the user answers no, the validation message will appear underneath that lets the company know that the offer must qualify as an SBC in order to be eligible to apply. So we clearly indicate what the issue is so that can get corrected. Also want to note that we have required fields marked with a red asterisk throughout the application to make it easy to identify which fields are required. Another way to get help is by connecting with a live person, and we now have 2 ways for you to do that. You can continue to reach the help desk via phone, or you can utilize the live chat feature via built-in messenger that'll be available Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern. And we'll quickly show you how easy it is to use this. So by opening up the NASA SBIR chat and asking for help, it will reach out to one of our help desk personnel for assistance. Here we ask the question, how many proposals can I submit? And that'll go to the help desk for response. Okay, and then we can see the help desk, Christy responded with the correct answer. Other self-help options that will be available from the help icon include what's new, to highlight what's new in this year's solicitation, an FAQ section with commonly asked questions on the proposal submission process, and templates of the proposal submission forms. And of course, you're always welcome to contact our help desk directly via phone or email. The help desk is available Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern with extended coverage on the last week of submissions. The help desk information is posted on the bottom of all pages, as shown here, and also available from the help icon itself towards the bottom of the form, where we say still not sure where to go. Okay. Now we'll move on just to some additional pointers to keep in mind while you're going through the submissions process and help make the process easier. We highly encourage you to go ahead and get started before the solicitation opens, particularly those of you who are participating with SBIR and STTR for the first time. You can register with the Small Business Administration's SBIR.gov site. Once registered, you'll be getting an SBC control ID number that will be required as part of your NASA SBIR submission. New companies also need to ensure that they're registered with SAM.gov, which is the primary repository for contractor information, and it is required for conducting business with NASA. And we highly encourage you to take the follow-on training, which will be on January 17th, where we'll be taking an in-depth look at the submissions process and all of the required parts for submitting a proposal to NASA. You can sign up for that through our website, and the link is provided there on the slide. We do encourage anyone from your company who will be part of that proposal submission process to attend the training so that they understand what's going to be required from them. And we encourage you to register when the EHB opens for registration on January 11th. The EHB registration opening will be in alignment with the solicitation release. And the full EHB access for proposal submissions will be available the following week. Next, we encourage you guys to please not wait until the last minute to submit your proposal. We've seen year after year the trend is for companies to wait till that last week to get their submission in. And we even have firms that register on the last few days or the last day of submissions. That makes it very stressful for you guys who are trying to go through this process. So we want to make sure that you're getting in there early, read through the solicitation to understand the requirements, and get that initial basic information in on your company. And that'll help you save time towards the end when you're trying to get everything wrapped up. We have seen historically our call volume and help requests really increase during that last week. So just really encourage you guys to get in there and get started as soon as the site opens up. Also recommend that you pay close attention to the proposal instructions that are outlined in the solicitation to ensure that your proposal is meeting all of the format requirements. Please pay attention to things like font requirements, margin requirements, all of the parts that are required as part of your technical proposal upload. Those are super important, and we don't want your proposal to get rejected because of an administrative matter. And we'd like to make you aware that our program is offering the I-Core training program again this year. Through this program, you can gain a better understanding of your customers' needs and value proposition, as well as obtain an outline of a business plan to help you moving forward with commercialization activities. So if your company is interested in this great program, please make sure that when you complete your application, you're choosing the opt-in option for I-Core. The recording of this demo will be available on our public website at sbir.nasa.gov. And also just want to mention, if you aren't already subscribed, we do have a newsletter that comes out quarterly. It has great information on NASA's SBIR and STTR programs. It highlights important dates and outreach events, and has a lot of great information on the program in general. So encourage everyone to subscribe to that. You can do that through our public website or through the email address that's identified here. Okay, and that will conclude my presentation so that we can move on to the Q&A portion. And I'm going to read out the questions that we have, and I'll start in just one moment. Okay, and before we start, I did just want to remind folks we will be posting this webinar via our public website, so if you want to go back and view it again or share it with any of your colleagues, it will be available. Okay, first question. Is it possible to apply for more than one project this year from one company with the same or, if necessary, separate principal investigator? So the answer is yes, you can apply for multiple projects with the same principal investigator, but you just need to be cautious of how much time your principal investigator is devoting to multiple projects. You don't want to have a situation where you have a PI and you guys have won multiple awards and there's no way that PI could cover all of the work for those awards. So keep that in mind as you're looking at how your PI's time is allocated. You also need to make sure that the PI is primarily employed by the small business concern, with the exception of STTR, where the PI may be located with the research institution. And I think I answered that fully. So if there's any follow-on questions to that, feel free to send an email to our help desk. We have a second question. If previously registered with the EHB, but it was several years ago, will we need to register again?
In the last 5 years.
Okay, so the current threshold is 5 years. So if you've participated in NASA's SBIR, STTR programs and submitted a proposal within the last 5 years, we should have your account information in the system. So you do not need to re-register. If you don't remember your user ID and password, there is an option for you to search and have that sent to you. Next question. Will the prior awards addendum carry over, or do we have to start fresh? We will carry the prior awards addendum data over. So if you've participated in the past, you can access the prior awards addendum with all of your prior information populated. So yes, that data will carry over. And for those of you who are submitting and have NASA SBIR awards already, as I previously mentioned, your NASA awards will automatically be pre-populated, and then you can update with any of your other federal agency Phase 2 awards. You can add that in, and that information will carry over into future solicitations, so you don't have to enter it again. The next question, are the templates downloadable for use offline? So the answer to that is no. We will have templates available, and they will be PDF views of the forms. Those are just intended to get you familiar with the questions that will be asked on the form. You must complete the forms online through the electronic handbook itself. Okay, next question. How long does it take to register for submissions? The registration process itself is fairly quick. So you'll be asked for your basic company information. You'll be selecting your own user ID and password, as well as a PIN number for your company. So it typically only takes about 3 to 5 minutes, and then you're all set with registration. Once the full EHB site opens, you'll be able to immediately log into the system, and for future registrants from your firm, the process is also very simple. Do you want to just touch a little bit on the process for registering? The first company who registers from your firm is termed the firm admin, and they'll be selecting a firm PIN, which will be required for subsequent users to register under your company. So we do recommend that the firm admin from your company is someone who you want to be responsible for managing that PIN, as well as entering in the firm level forms for your proposal submissions. And that includes your basic company information, the prior awards addendum, commercial metrics survey, and the firm certifications. Next question, what are the components of a proposal? So as I mentioned before, we do have firm level forms that get completed once. And I just laid those out, so I won't reiterate those again. Then you'll also have proposal-specific information, where you'll be providing your proposal contacts, like the business official, authorized contract negotiator, and the principal investigator. You'll have your proposal-level certifications, the proposal summary, where you'll provide your technical abstract, the budget form. You'll have your technical proposal upload, and you'll have your briefing chart, as well as an opt-in form for I-Corps. And once all of those pieces are completed, you'll be able to perform electronic endorsement, and that's a sign-off by both the principal investigator and the small business official for SBIR. For STTR, there's an additional piece of the submission, which is a research agreement between the small business and the research institution, and the RI official has to endorse that. So you'll have 3 endorsements for STTR, 2 for SBIR. Okay, next question. Is there a way to apply for I-Corps before you submit a proposal? The answer to that is no. We've incorporated I-Corps opt-in as part of this proposal submission process. So when you go in to your proposal, you'll see that form, and the opt-in option is there. So you would indicate yes, and there'll be some subsequent follow-on questions for that. We had a request to show the newsletter subscription email address again, so we can do that. And also note, if you don't get the email here, you can do that through our public website as well. But I'll pull up that screen again. Okay, next question, and this is a good one. If you submit a proposal early, can it be edited before the deadline? And the answer is yes. NASA's policy allows you to edit the submission all the way up until the 5 p.m. deadline. But I do want to make everyone aware, if you are editing anything or saving anything after endorsement, you have to re-endorse the proposal submission by that 5 p.m. deadline. So you can go in, upload a new proposal file, update any of the forms, but you will have to re-endorse the proposal by the 5 p.m. deadline. Next question, can the business official endorse for the PI without logging out and logging back in as the PI? And can the BO endorse from his or her account? So the answer to that question is yes. For cases where the business official is serving as both the business official and the principal investigator, he or she can do the endorsement without having to log out and log back in. There'll be an action for the PI to endorse first, so the user would go in and endorse as the PI and can immediately then endorse as the business official without having to log out and log back in. If the principal investigator, for some reason, is not the business official and not available to do the endorsement, there is an option for the business official to endorse on behalf of the PI, but we do encourage the actual PI to come in and do the endorsement so that we have it on record that the PI has electronically endorsed. The PI endorsement has to happen first. So the PI endorsement would need to be done, and then the business official is doing their endorsement, and that officially submits the proposal to NASA. There's a question for more information on the I-Corps training. We do have that available from our website, and I can pull that up quickly. So we'll go to sbir.nasa.gov. And under the About SBIR STTR, you'll see the option for I-Corps, and if you click on that, there's a wealth of information on the I-Corps program, so do encourage those of you who are interested in I-Corps to go through this page. Also from our website, just since we're here, the solicitations tab will have our solicitation when the 2018 solicitation opens on the 11th, so you'll be able to access that here. And you'll have access to the electronic handbook for submissions from multiple places, from here, from the handbooks link, and from the main home screen itself, so you guys should be able to locate that very easily. Okay, and just 1 second while we get the next question in the queue. We have a question, is it correct that the Start New Proposal process will be demoed during the January 17th training? The answer to that is yes. We will be walking through the entire submissions process, including how to start a new proposal. So that will be part of the training. That's on the 17th. In completing the firm details, what is the time frame for counting number of employees? Time of submission or the expected number for 2018? So you should put in the accurate information at time of submission. There was a question around the commercialization plan itself. For requirements around your firm's commercialization plan, I would encourage you to read the instructions in the solicitation. Chapter 3 will have detailed information on what we're looking for in terms of a commercialization plan. And I think a couple of you have gone into the website to the Open Solicitations tab and are looking for this year's solicitation. It's not there yet. We will have it posted by noon on January 11th. Question, will there be a technical proposal template that is in Word? Yes, so we will have, through our template library that we showed from the help icon, we will have templates for the forms as well as a proposal template that is in MS Word. That template will basically have section headers for each of the required parts of your technical proposal. And that'll be in alignment with what's in Chapter 3 in the solicitation. Next question. Is there a step to review proposal sections for completion before submitting? Yes, and that's something that we are actually asking all companies to do before they endorse their submission, to review your forms as well as the technical proposal file that you've uploaded to verify that everything is accurate and complete before performing that endorsement step. Also, since this prompted me to think of another new feature on the submissions portal. You will have access to past solicitations now, which is something you didn't have access to previously. Moving forward, once submissions closes, you can come in and still see the list of what you've submitted in the past and have access to those documents if you're the designated firm POC. And you can see here open solicitation versus past solicitation. We had a question on how can you change the firm admin that's designated for your company. You'll need to submit that request through the help desk and we can assist you with changing the designated firm admin. Next question, is there a way to give access to the cost portion of the budget form to someone but not to the principal investigator? So currently, no, that option is not available. We will have view access that you can assign individuals that will give them read access to all of the forms. Right now, we don't let you restrict, specific forms. We had a question. We had a Phase 1 SBIR and now a Phase 2. When I sign in all the information of the company and the SBIR proposals, will it already be there, or will we have to enter the data again? So we'll go back 1 year prior. So if you've participated within the last year, all of your firm level information will carry over, so you're not having to re-enter that information. You'll just be reviewing and validating that it's still accurate, and you can update it if needed. Will you receive an error message if the submission does not go through successfully? Yes, so we do have success messages that'll come up when you're uploading your proposal, when you're endorsing. So as you're going through the process, if there's an error, you should get a system error to let you know what's wrong. But also you'll want to make sure that everything is showing as green and you're getting those success messages. So you will get a message upon successful technical proposal upload. You'll get messages when you endorse your proposal. And if you make any updates after you endorse, you'll also get a notification that reminds you that you need to go in and re-endorse. And we do have the tracker within the home screen too to let you see and track your progress so that you know what's completed versus what's in progress. If you do have that submitted status, then you know that everything is in and has been successfully completed. But that is a good reason too, during the just before endorsement to go in and review before you submit, so that you can make sure that, yes, that is the right proposal file uploaded, and yes, I do have all of the information accurately entered into the forms. So do take advantage of that review step before you endorse and submit your proposal. Can the small business official and the principal investigator be the same person? Yes, that's totally fine. The PI and the business official can be the same person. Is there a way to receive the completed submitted proposal, particularly for STTR and identification of IP? So you'll have access to your submitted proposals through the system. So you should be able to go in and have that available. Still encourage you to keep it as a record outside of the EHB, but you can certainly go into the EHB and pull that documentation if needed. How is this webinar different from the next one? This was a very high-level overview just to get you guys familiar with the look and feel of the new system and highlight some of the new features. The next webinar is more going to be like a training session where we'll have our trainer go in and walk you through the full submissions process. So that'll get you more familiar with the forms and how to actually go through the process of submitting a proposal. How many awards can my firm receive? NASA doesn't plan to award more than 5 SBIR and 2 STTR awards to any one offerer, and this just helps ensure the broadest participation of the small business community. Who can submit proposals for my firm? It's up to the company to decide who they want responsible for submitting the proposal. There's really multiple roles. Whoever initiates the proposal in the system is the one responsible for updating all of the proposal information. Then it should be the business official, and that could be the same person, who ultimately signs off on the submissions itself through the electronic endorsement process. Is the website secure? Yes, we do have a secure website, so you shouldn't have any security concerns about uploading or providing any proprietary or sensitive data through the site. Can more than one person work on the proposal submission at one time? So the answer to that is no. To avoid confusion on who or when things are getting updated, we do assign a primary person, and that's the person who initiates the proposal or starts the proposal in the system, to be responsible for the editing. So other people can have access to read the submission or to endorse, but you'll have one designated person doing the editing and updating. Next question. If already registered at SBIR.gov and SAM.gov for past DoD SBIR purposes, is this sufficient for NASA as well? Yes. So both of those registrations are required for NASA submissions. So the fact that you've already have that completed, puts you ahead of the game. So once you go into the NASA proposal submission site, you'll be asked for things like your DUNS number and cage code, which you'll get through SAM and through the Dun & Bradstreet site. You'll also be asked for the SBC control ID number, which you would have gotten through the SBIR.gov registration. Please outline this year's award limits and durations for Phase 1 and Phase 2. So for Phase 1 for SBIR, the max duration is 6 months for up to $125K, and for STTR, the max is 13 months, which is a change from last year. Last year it was 12 months, also for a max award value of $125K. Phase 2, the duration is 24 months for a value of $750K. Next question. Can parts of the proposal, including purchase info, be uploaded several days below the deadline, or does the full application have to be entered at one time? We actually encourage folks to work on the application over a period of time, so you should get familiar and start the process early. You can save what you've done as you're going, so you won't have to do everything at once. So please avoid going and putting all this in right before the deadline. We want you to take the time to get this in and get it in early and be able to have confidence that the information that you have is complete and accurate. Also, just want to let you know a reminder about our help desk information. So help desk, if you have any additional questions that didn't get covered during today's Q&A, please reach out to our help desk at sbir@reisystems.com, or you can contact them directly via phone at 301-937-0888. Okay, and I think we've covered everything today, so we'll go ahead and close out the webinar. Thank you guys so much for participating, and I hope that you all are able to join the training on the 17th as well. Thank you.